Hey everyone, it's Miss Wilgorin. This is a quick video to give you a very brief overview of the features of a spreadsheet. Over the next few class periods, you'll be working on creating spreadsheets and seeing how beneficial they can be, specifically when it comes to performing calculations on data. Spreadsheets can do way more than that, but this is just what we're going to focus on for now. Spreadsheets allow us to easily organize, store, and sort data, and also allow us to produce graphs and charts for the data that we enter. People in a variety of different occupations use spreadsheets, but a lot of people also use spreadsheets outside of their career. You could use a spreadsheet to create a budget or track the stats of your favorite sports player. Maybe a spreadsheet could be helpful when it comes to tracking costs of different colleges you're considering. If we tell it what to do, a spreadsheet can perform calculations for us. This is much more efficient and faster than performing calculations by hand using a calculator. And a spreadsheet is dynamic, meaning if you enter a bunch of data and a formula that will perform some sort of calculation on that data, but then you change one or more of the numbers, the formula will automatically recalculate using the changed number or numbers. So a spreadsheet has rows and columns, okay? So these are rows, these are the columns. So this here, this is row 3, and then this here, this is column D. And then these individual boxes, those are called cells, and they are named by a row and a column. So this would be called cell B7. At the bottom of a Google Sheet, you can create additional spreadsheets within the same file. And I have a spreadsheet here where I have some numbers entered. So let's say I want to add the numbers 152. Okay, I know that that equals 152, but I want my spreadsheet to calculate that. And I want to put that sum here in cell E3. So anytime you're entering a formula, you always have to start with an equal sign. And then we're not going to put equals 100 plus 52 because then that cell will always just be 152. Let me show you what I mean. So if I put here 100 plus 52, that cell's 152. But let's say I change this cell here to be 200. I would want this cell to now say 252 because I want it to be the sum of what's in cell B3 and cell B4. Okay, so I'm going to change that back to 100, and I'm going to go back over to E3, and instead of this being 100 plus 52, I'm going to have it be cell B3 plus cell C3. Okay, now that says 152, but if I change this 100 to say 200, that cell now says 252. Okay, you also could just click on the cells you want it to add. So before I typed C3 plus B3, instead you could click on the cells if you want. You could say, okay, this is this cell plus this cell, and it will automatically calculate. Now let's say you want to add all of these numbers in column B. Hit equals. Now it's allowing me to type in average or sum. So those are some calculations that a spreadsheet will suggest to you. I want it to do the sum of those numbers. So this says add essentially B3 through B10. Hit enter. It will add all those numbers. Let's say you change this back to be a 100. That sum in B12 should go down by 100 automatically. Okay. You also could, if you wanted to type sum, parentheses, you could highlight all of these, and that's the same calculation. So the reason why using a spreadsheet is so much better than using a calculator and just adding up a bunch of numbers by hand, or performing any sort of mathematical operations on these numbers using a calculator is that when you change any of the numbers in the spreadsheet, the calculation that you've entered, that value will automatically change. Okay, this is what we mean when we say a spreadsheet is dynamic. Okay, you don't have to only do adding. You could multiply cells. Okay, so you always want to start when you're entering a formula into a cell with an equal sign. And let's say you want to multiply this cell times this cell. You can just put the asterisk for multiplication. Let's say you want to divide two cells equals the cell divided by this cell. Then you have division. Let's say now you want to multiply that by 100 equals the cell times 100. Now, if you change this number, let's say we change this 46 to be a 52, notice in cell E7 and F7, the decimal and the percentage will automatically change. Okay, so just like in a Google Doc or slides, you can title your spreadsheet up here. Okay, this toolbar, you can change the font. You can put borders around cells. So let's say we want to put a border around here. You can format. I don't think it's under format. It's somewhere. Actually, here's the border right here. This border button, let's say we just want a border around the outside. There's our border. Let's say we want to center these numbers. We can center these numbers, okay? Lots you can do in the toolbar. This here shows you a bunch of different functions. We mostly will be using sum or average, but there's lots of different functions that can be used within a spreadsheet. All right, so hopefully that is helpful for you to get started on the assignments.